This is a really interesting question which we didn't talk about, and I am interested in your thoughts here. Considering the regime change in Syria, do you think the previous...
Syria.
Yeah, Syria. Do you think the previous regime can come back like the French monarchy after Napoleon, or was it a one-way street now? It wasn't quite the same as before, that didn't last. But what do you think?
Sorry, what's the question?
Sorry, is it like the French monarchy after Napoleon, could the previous regime come back, or is it a one-way street now? What do you think about the...
First, we are here touching very sensitive points for me personally, because first, I'm an old absolute partisan of Jacobins. I don't perceive them as proto-totalitarian, and even Napoleon. I participated recently in some round table in France where we were dreaming, what if Napoleon were to win? It was not possible, we can say, but if. I think we would have European Union already in the middle of the 19th century, no Nazi Germany, and so on and so on. I still think that Napoleonic dream was something big and great. What's happening today is that maybe, I'm here totally crazy, you will be shocked, that we are now approaching a post-Napoleonic world. And I'm not afraid to say maybe we need a leftist Napoleon Trump. I think the crucial point is unity, especially unity of Europe. Isn't this typical that almost everybody today, precisely when everybody complains Europe is lost, irrelevant, kaput, as Varoufakis likes to say, but look, Latino American leftists, oh, Europe, Eurocentrism. Trump repeatedly said, our true enemy is not Russia or China, but Europe. For Putin, it's and so on. So what bothers them so much in Europe? That legacy, I think, is worth fighting for. Quite often, even when we criticize European legacy, are we aware that we are using terms which are deeply rooted in European enlightenment? So what I'm saying is that the situation that I see now, okay, I will give you the formula, which may be horrible. Trump and, okay, United States, it's not only Trump, but nonetheless, they are now dominated by Trump. Trump, Putin is this new axis of evil. Europe should, but it will probably not, it's too dismembered, unconditionally unite and make, I know what I'm saying, I'm so critical about China, my books are now half prohibited there, but nonetheless, in today's situation, I think Europe should risk trade unity with China. Because the paradox of China is that what they are doing without democracy, I know, is something that I quite admire. You know what gave me an intellectual orgasm? You remember not only DeepSeek, but another digital invention, then some for feminine breast cancer, something. With wise state regulation, they are even more effective as capitalists than most of the West today. So my formula is Europe unite with, at this point, without stopping the critique of China, I could go for hours, but with a strategic alliance with China. Do you have any other realistic option? What's your solution here?
Oh, wow, 9 minutes to go.
Sorry?
9 minutes to go. Well, I'm interested, in terms of, because I'm writing a book called The Fall of the West, little plug, which is about how the hubris of 1991, you know, the end of history, military supremacy, economic supremacy, moral supremacy, and the story of the 21st century is that dissolution, and obviously China's rise is one symptom of that. I mean, I'm interested in that, the decline of the West. I mean, it seems quite precipitous, doesn't it? We've had the military strategic defeats of Iraq and Afghanistan, Ukraine, I would say as well, economically, 2008 financial crash, and now the moral claims of the US, which were always, you know, Reagan had them, you know, you could go, Woodrow Wilson had them, Truman had them, but Trump doesn't pretend to have those moral claims. So what do you think about that, the kind of collapse of the West?
I think it will not happen, but now you're asking me about my dreams, no? That Europe should gather the strength and it should This is for me almost the key ideological political question. I hope we will agree here that Europe should, but it will not, it may, gather the strength to show its autonomy by, and I am desperately looking for all small signs like what Macron said. France will maybe in June recognize Palestine. It's absolutely crucial how do you look in relation to each other to Ukrainian crisis and Palestine crisis. You know, what I find really disgusting is Merz, the new he will be, if he is not German Chancellor, who is totally pro-Israel and at the same time totally pro-Ukraine. But I think the situation is very similar. In Gaza, you have pure genocide, which will probably expand, we see in what form, to the West Bank. Then, in Ukraine, don't forget, there is also a form of genocide in the sense of annihilating a nation. The whole Russian propaganda is repeatedly, Ukrainians don't really exist as a nation. So, you know, that's why I have problems with some of those peaceniks for peace who say Ukraine has to choose between peace and war. I don't think from Ukrainian side that the war there is a proxy war for NATO. No, thanks, they are fighting for survival as a nation. So I think the most dangerous thing is if Ukrainians, and they are making here great mistakes, start to repeat this bullshit, we are part of Western civilization, and even Zelensky repeated this mistake, claiming we are like Israel, you know. Yeah. And if this interpretation will prevail, it will be a catastrophe because it will mean the success of Putin. You know, I believe in KGB, secret police, so I have my own small KGB, which means seriously a couple of friends from Russia who tell me what's going on there. Putin is not an idiot. He doesn't only have Dugin and those crazy monarchist intellectuals. He also appropriated a group of ex-Marxists who tell him how to present Russia in fighting Ukraine as basically the same thing as Palestinians fighting Israel or African as part of the third world independence movement. If this axis will prevail, it's the end of the world for me. And but it will not, I know, what should I do, kill myself? What if Europe were to do, but I am a pessimist, I know, something just crazy, like send some ships with military accompaniment to Gaza and say, sorry, fuck off, we bring help there directly.
Speaking of pessimism, Yaz asks, what are your thoughts on the ability of the right to show more cooperation on a global level than leftists that haven't been able to show global movement? And you can see that, can't you? Orban, Trump, Bolsonaro, Modi, you know, the far right of Europe, often Putin as well. I mean, he's often been a patron of those sorts of movements. What do you think? There has been far more unity there.
The paradox is here a very nice dialectical, sorry for this term one. The paradox is that they cooperate on a platform which rhetorically appears non-cooperative. Their ideology is strong nation states. And what makes me really sad is that while it's so fashionable to be against Europe, Eurocentrism, many of the third world countries are now resuscitating or repeating in an incredibly violent way what is the worst part today of European legacy, which is a strong nation state. China is doing this up to a point what they're doing with Uyghurs in Tibet. India is doing this, obviously, Modi. Turkey is doing this, and so on and so on. So my ideal, it's very naive, is I don't see an opposition between local communities, local ways of life, and united Europe. I think European Union was precisely the one which provided the general umbrella so that here you can have now not only Scotland, but also Wales, you have Basques and so on. My ideal is that a more united Europe will not mean uniformity, but on the contrary, will open a safe space for more local autonomy and so on. Will it happen? I doubt, because I think, and here we will agree probably, that it's not just, it's easy to focus on these usual suspects, Orban and so on. But is it Ursula von der Leyen? Is it Merz or who? Europe is broken, but you know why this is hurt, it's so painful for me. Because nonetheless, economically, yeah, we hear it all the time, Europe is declining. Sorry, Europe as a whole, it's still an incredible economic superpower. Stronger all of Europe than United States, than China, and so on and so on. What is happening now with Europe, it's not just the story, I think, told by Varoufakis, Europe is in decay. No, it's an ideological fiasco. It's time for Europe, in a strictly self-critical way, to become proud of its legacy.
Final question. This is from
Do I want to kill myself after
No, no,
this?
No, this is, you've got to make this, you've got to give a good, optimistic answer here. That's the mandate. Leo Chong here. My sister Mai is in the audience. Hey, Mai. And is a huge fan. My question is simple. What is the secret to a long and fulfilling life?
To a long?
And fulfilling life.
I will give such a primitive answer, but it has existential meaning for me. The secret is not to worry about living a long and fulfilling life. I am so metaphysical here. Don't vegetate. Find a vocation. A vocation, I mean a task which fulfills you. Not your self-pleasures and so on. But just it's, okay, a couple of us are happy. I mean this as praising you, not. But now with your podcasts, it's obviously not in any nasty sense that, I'm not meaning sexual, but you, in a deeper Freudian sense, you enjoy it, you find fulfillment in it. I find in my books and so on, so happiness and satisfied life can only be what a Norwegian, he hates me but he's not an idiot, John Elster, theorist of rationality, calls states which are necessary byproducts. Like if you directly aim at it, you will screw up everything. You must have a focus of creativity, whatever, and this focus can be catastrophic. That's why I always quote it. You must all know it. It's my favorite quote from your crazy author, Neil Gaiman. Oh, yeah. When he describes love, no, I don't love him.
No, I know, it's just a bit awkward.
Yeah, but what I like is that he says, and that's the truth of love, love is a catastrophe. Imagine your nice life. You are happy, drink with friends. Once a week you have maybe a one-night stand, nothing happens. Then you fall passionately in love. Your daily rhythm is disturbed, everything goes wrong. But if you are truly in love, you will say, I don't care if everything falls apart. That means we need such a point. That's the only way, which doesn't bring happiness in itself. It may be, even if it's a catastrophe, you tell to yourself, I would have done it. I think that, you know, Brecht, the old I will finish very briefly. Brecht, in his Beggar's Opera, have a wonderful line, vaguely translated into English. It says, okay, run after happiness, but not too fast, because you may overtake it and happiness will stay behind.
Now, on that moment, we are going to be, Slavoj will be signing books, so do go and chat to Slavoj. You can keep firing questions at him. There were great questions, by the way, everyone. But honestly, Slavoj, it's been such a pleasure.
No.
We've covered, I think, quite a range of topics from
But something else I want to tell
orgasms.
you. No, I didn't like this forum. You are more. You are for me the same figure as. No, I'm not kissing your ass. you know, there are people who emerge from time to time, like Julian Assange. He had his problems.
One or two.
Sorry?
Yeah, well, hopefully I won't end up in Belmarsh.
Yeah, but I visited him there a couple of times, and we had wonderful, he was a man with spirit. We have wonderful dirty jokes then and so on. But what I want to say is that, you know, he had his vocation vision. And I think you have yours. So I am proud to be here with you.
Well, likewise, honestly, you're always so stimulating, so thoughtful, so provoking.
And you can see something.
People I watched all the way through, people always, the audience, hanging on every word.
An evil thing. Just please don't say you are so interesting, because you know that in American academia, there is a rule. If somebody asks you, how was my talk? The polite way to say it was bullshit, say it was interesting.
Okay, fascinating. It was a
fascinating because I haven't here.
A tour de force. Is that better? I'm not haggling with you, Slavoj.
Yeah, but
it was a very, very.
But which force? Progressive force or reactionary force?
It was. On that note, massive round of applause for Slavoj Žižek.
Oh my God.